Pavlov did a ton of different variations of the experiment. He found a couple of things that are important to note as well. If the tone sounded at the same time the food was given, classical conditioning was not achieved. Super important. Super important, right? Has to come right before it. If the tone sounded during the time the dogs were already eating, classical conditioning was not achieved. So meaning the tone cannot come after the food. Classical conditioning can only be achieved if the stimuli, the tone in this case, predicts or precedes the primary reinforcer, which is the food. He did some more experiments with some variables of this, and he consistently found that timing was extremely important. The less delay there was between the stimuli and the reinforcer, the tone and the food, the faster and the stronger the classical conditioning was achieved. If you waited too long between stimuli, tone, and primary reinforcer, food, classical conditioning was not achieved. So what that means is the tone cannot come at the same time as the food. The tone cannot come after the food, right? The tone cannot predict the food too long, right? You can't give the tone, wait for a minute, and then give the food, right? It has to be tone, pause, food, okay? He did a bunch of tests, and basically he found that 1/2 second was the preferred time for classical conditioning, right, in order to achieve that. But bottom line, we're going to use this in a variety of points in training with our dogs, and our dogs are actually, this is happening to them whether or not we like it all the time. But whatever it is, whatever that stimuli is, in this case it's tone, and whatever your reinforcer is, in this case it's food, you have to follow the sequence: tone, pause, food. Tone, pause, food. And you have to do that for repetition, 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 repetition in order to achieve classical conditioning.